Does it take to slay a monster? Barristan Selmy knows.
The singers will tell you Mayli's Blackfire was a monster before they tell you he was a man. They speak of the second head budding from his neck, of the strength in his arms, of the way horses shied from him and children cried when he passed. They call him Maylis the Monstrous now, as though the gods themselves stamped the name upon his brow at birth. But monsters are still men, and men can bleed. I learned that upon the stepstones. The war smelled of salt, tar, and rotten fruit left too long in the sun. Even now, when I close my eyes, I remember the heat more than the killing. Cloaks soaked through with sweat before dawn, armor hot enough to blister skin, flies gathering on corpses before the blood had finished spilling from them. We had gone there to end a dream. The Blackfires had haunted Westeros for near a century by then. Bittersteel carried their banners across the narrow sea after the red grass field, and generation after generation they returned, like a bad song men could not stop singing. Pretenders, exiles, dragonless dragons clutching at a dead throne. By the time Maylis gathered the Golden Company beneath his banner, men whispered that perhaps the Blackfires truly would return at last. He was fierce enough for it, mad enough too. The disputed lands had already learned to fear him. He murdered his own cousin for command of the company, crushed his skull with hands thick as hams if the tales are true. Some said he did it smiling. And when he crossed onto the stepstones, even seasoned men grew quiet around the campfires. That was where I first saw him, not upon the battlefield, not in glory, but across the water at dusk, standing upon a rocky ridge with the wind snapping his cloak behind him. Huge, twisted, the last of the Blackfire line, staring west toward the Seven Kingdoms, like a starving man staring through a baker's window. You ask me now if I feared him. Every honest man fears death. The liars are usually buried first. Still, there are vows that matter more than fear. And on the stepstones, every man there understood one truth. If Maylis won, the realm would bleed for another generation. So we marched beneath a sky red as old wounds, toward the man they called monstrous. And tell me, what kind of knight rides willingly toward a monster, unless somewhere deep inside himself, he wishes to learn whether monsters can bleed? What does glory sound like when it dies? Not trumpets, not songs. It sounds like men drowning in their own blood while steel scrapes against bone. The battle began before sunrise. The stepstones were chaos even on calm days. Jagged rocks, narrow beaches, hills that broke formations apart before swords ever crossed. Men slipped in surf made pink with blood. Arrows vanished into sea mist and found throats by chance more often than aim. There was no beauty to it. War rarely resembles the songs sung afterward. I remember a boy no older than 16 trying to push his guts back into his belly with shaking hands. I remember a sellsword laughing after losing 3 fingers because he was too mad to understand what had happened yet. I remember the smell. Gods, the smell. Blood and salt water and opened bowels beneath the rising sun. Somewhere in that madness rode Maylis. You could track him by the dead. Men broke before him, not always from fear, though there was plenty of that, but because he fought like something unleashed rather than trained. No elegance, no knightly grace, just ruin. A heavy axe in one hand, a sword in the other, hacking through shield walls as if he wished to tear Westeros itself apart, plank by plank. I saw him kill a knight of the Reach with one blow that stove in breastplate and ribs together. Another man lost half his face before he even realized Maylis had passed him. The monstrous stories stopped sounding like stories after that. Then he saw me. Perhaps he recognized the white cloak beneath the blood and mud. Perhaps he simply wanted another corpse. Whatever the reason, he came for me roaring like some beast from old Valyria. The world narrows in such moments. Men speak of battle as though thought survives inside it. It does not. Training survives. Instinct survives. Terror survives. He swung first. I barely turned the axe aside. The impact numbed my entire sword arm. Another strike followed at once, then another. He was stronger than any man I had ever faced before or since. Not merely powerful, wrongly powerful. Like fighting a bull that had learned to hate. But strength can become its own blindness.
What makes a man a legend? Are legends just the ones that survive?
Maylis wanted to crush me quickly. He fought angry, impatient. Every blow carried the certainty that no man alive should survive it. And that certainty killed him. He overreached. Only once. War turns on smaller things than songs admit. One wet stone beneath a heel. One breath drawn too sharply. One heartbeat of arrogance. His axe buried itself in a shield rim long enough for me to move inside his reach. I drove my sword through his throat, beneath the jaw, where even monstrous flesh remains flesh at last. The sound he made did not sound human. He staggered backward, choking black-red blood, staring at me not with fear, but disbelief, as if monsters were never meant to die. Then Maylis Blackfire fell into the surf, and with him fell the last Blackfire claim to the Iron Throne. The singers say Barristan the Bold slew him. A fine song, but songs leave out the truth. The truth is that when the battle ended, I looked upon his corpse and felt no triumph at all. Only exhaustion, relief, and the cold understanding that legends are merely men other men survive.